Today, the tradition continues when I say, "You are dear to me. I hold you in my heart," with a card, gift, call, or a simple act of kindness. I share love with no expectation of reciprocation, and my heart welcomes every expression of love from others. Love's energy grows through both giving and receiving. The scriptural passage from the Gospel of John, the good news of John, which is really the good news of love. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. And now Trish and David will light our Christ candle and then lead us musically into our time of contemplation.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
Just feel the beauty of that voice, the beauty of the lyric. The beauty of the piano and the pianist. So much beauty to breathe in. And as we feel that beauty within our hearts, as we breathe it in, we begin to get a sense of the beauty of our own beingness. The beauty of our essential nature. The beauty of the love that created us, that eternally embraces us. That seeks to express in, as, through us. And even as you continue for a bit to hear words, ideas, feel the space in which the words and the ideas move. Trace back to what the words are pointing to. Back to the spaciousness that is transcendent of words or ideas or concepts. The spacious presence. Pure consciousness. Pure love. See if you can open your heart just a bit more. To allow that love to expand. To allow that love to move to fill your being. To be your being. As the heart expands, the mind quiets. This moment becomes primary. We feel the stillness that is our source. The stillness that is our source. And so we release these words as we open into that stillness. Be still. And as you hear the melody and the words, continue to feel that spaciousness, the presence, the beingness that is you. We feel that space as we continue our time together. And so it is. Amen.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, yet you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? But don't change your hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? But don't change your hair for me. Not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine. Each day is Valentine. Stay Valentine. Each day is Valentine, my Valentine. Each day is Valentine Day.
Oh my, I can feel the room standing. Absolutely magnificent. Magnificent. Both of you. Both of you. Oh, if I smoked, I'd need a cigarette. I may start. Really, really, truly magnificent. My Funny Valentine, it in many ways has always seemed to be a bit of a, I don't know, funny holiday. It's yet another one of our white sugar holidays. Has very interesting um, origins depending on which version of it you read. Now, of course, that we have this brain substitute called Google, right? There are more and more versions of what Valentine's really means. One of the versions, probably one of the earliest, was that in a 3-day period, February 13, 14, and 15, there were 3 men who were martyred who all happened to be named Valentine or Valentinus, actually. So it was originally a holiday about martyrdom and actually murder. Um, there are sweeter versions of that legend. But I don't know about you, but it has certainly evolved for me throughout the now many decades that I've been on the planet. And and we're invited to see it beyond just because it's primarily looked at as a romantic holiday. But for me, it's always been about something much broader than that. And if we can kind of look past some of those legends, as it says in our daily word, one of those is about Valentinus. One of them, saint that became Saint Valentinus, would make little heart symbols out of parchment paper and give them to people, which is where that aspect of the tradition came from. But it's certainly a much broader celebration than just a romantic celebration. Now, I've been married now for coming up on 11 years, but I've spent more of my life single than I have coupled. And so maybe that's part of the reason that for me, um, Valentine's Day and love has always been much broader than that form. I am not a human being that has needed that in my life. I have never gone out really seeking that type of union. Um, when it came along, it's been mostly great. I say that because I've had three significant relationships, two of which have been absolutely magnificent. Many, if not most of you, know my current husband, Donald, and that's a beautiful, beautiful union, a very mature kind of a love. But I spent a lot of my life alone and was actually quite satisfied to do so. And for me, um, love is a spiritual reality. And and it's something that we're all invited to evolve in. And so today, yes, we celebrate Cupid and hearts and flowers and all of those symbols, but remembering certainly that it's about a much deeper um, type of love. So I have shared this many, many times, and I'm going to share it again. One of my favorite lifetime memories, which I can still feel every single Valentine's Day, was our observance of Valentine's Day in elementary school. So I'm sure many of you have heard this. In elementary school, every one of my classmates throughout the years of elementary school, we would all get those little Valentines that you would buy at the grocery or at the drugstore. And you got a box with I don't know how many in it. And then we would fill out one of our Valentines and for each and every one of our classmates. And then, particularly in the earlier years of elementary school, we would each create a mailbox out of a shoebox. So we would decorate the shoebox, put little hearts, and everybody had their own creative way of decorating the boxes. And we would cut a hole in the. Did any of you do this? Maybe it's just an Ohio thing. Okay, the guys are up there waving at me in the booth, so they did it too. So we would make these shoe boxes in the little hole in the top, and then we would, at a certain point during Valentine's Day, if it fell on the weekend, we did it on a Friday or whatever, but we would all get a chance to walk around and to put our Valentine's cards into the box of each one of our classmates. Now, what what today is so beautiful about that to me is it didn't matter what you really thought or felt about an individual classmate. It's hard to imagine because of my current just overtly masculine expression. Um, there's laughter in the room, even though I have two people. Um, I I got bullied a lot. If I didn't have a big brother, I'd probably been long ago dead. But my big brother came to defend me. But though I got bullied a lot, and there were people that you just like more than other people. Of course, we're human beings. But on Valentine's Day, each and every one of our classmates got a Valentine from each and every one of our classmates. Like there was never a thought that, oh, he bullied me yesterday. I'm not going to give him a Valentine. Like that was never even a part of and I don't think any one of my classmates' perceptual systems. That just isn't some place that we went at that point, particularly in the younger years. We were each other's Valentine on that day. And remembering the warmth and the feeling of that, and you know, I still also recall for a few days after that, I would come home from school and I would open up my shoebox and I would look at every single one of my Valentines. It always makes me want to cry today because it was so real and so beautiful, and it's so lost in our adult human expressions that that was so precious to me that even if February 15th the bullies went after me again, I could cry my way home and go into my bedroom and shut the door and open my shoebox and think that, well, one day a year they cared. One day a year, there was no thought of not giving each and every one a Valentine, an expression of our caring and of our even our love. That on that day, something magical, and now I know something truly mystical happened. And so the scriptures that tell us that children will reach what is called the kingdom, or as I call it, the Kin, kingdom of heaven. Children will reach it first. And I got to say that those Valentine memories in my childhood, that was the kingdom as a reality. It wasn't some thought in my head. It wasn't a concept that I tried to, to somehow get to or to apply, or it it was a reality, and it is a reality. When I deepen down into a love that is transcendent of whether or not we like or agree with people. You know what? I still get bullied today. And I'm still going to choose that my spirituality is about something deeper and broader and vaster, because the reality is we can say, and all of our world's religions and traditions and our spiritual paths, we all claim that though we don't all call it God, this source is love. And so, as I remind you very often, you cannot hold hatred in your heart for other human beings and know the totality of what we call God. Because God is love, because God love is universal, because, see, we were put on this planet. We were created to make little shoe boxes. Now, the U.S. Postal Service right now, I don't know what's going on with that, but I think we need to be making some, right? We need to be making some new shoe boxes. I think we could probably do better on our own, but that's an aside. But I think we all need to get back to a place where we look at, we listen to, we watch the devastating effects that are happening in our human realm right now, but we choose that we're going to, at the broadest level, at the essential level, we're going to come into a place where we love each other beyond all of that. And when enough of us we decide that we're going to love each other beyond all of the dramas that we create. And see, we create the dramas because we do not know that we are loved. That's where it comes from, right? As we were bullied, or as we were shamed, or as we were wronged, or as love was withheld from us in our earliest experiences. See, that's what shrouds our hearts in our adulthood. And so the unconsciousness that we watch play out, sometimes and even now frequently, with devastating effects. It is all loveless perception that can only be corrected with and by love. And so, that song, I love that song, and now I love it even more after hearing Trish and David's version of it. I mean, wow, huh? My Funny Valentine. Right? I have had some funny Valentines in my life, and I often, some of you, if you're offended, you'll bully me later. But today, just put a little Valentine in my shoebox and let it go, right? But we're a funny bunch, we Unitics. We're, by the world's standards, we're we're not normal. Ha- have you noticed? Right? Like our principles and our thought system and the way that we do it imperfectly, but the things that we choose to believe and the way that we choose to come together, even when we're not physically together, the revolutionary beliefs that we hold are not normal by the world's standards. And so, my Funny Valentine for us is literal. And there's a line in that song that has always and continues to it just moves inside of me. Don't change a hair for me. Not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine. Stay. It's been almost a year since I've seen you. And I viscerally miss you at such a level. And I wish I could see you. I can see David out there. I can see my boys up in my beloved Trish over here. And if there's a message that I could deliver to you from my heart to your heart, I want you to hear this. Don't change a hair for me. Now, I apply this imperfectly, but my deepest heart says you don't have to change one thing about yourself for me to love you. In fact, don't don't you change a hair for me, not if you care for me. Just stay. Just stay the way you are in all your messiness, in all your funkiness, in all your quirkiness. I'm looking in a mirror while I'm saying all of this because nobody's as quirkier than I am. But see, I know what it's like to think I have to fit in order to belong. But I've shared this with you before, and I'll share it with you today on this Valentine's Day. Fitting in and belonging are two very different things. And if I have to fit in order to belong, I'm not interested. Now, it's taken me decades to get to that point. But if I have to act a certain way or speak a certain way or pretend to be a certain thing in order to fit in, then, yeah, no. No. I'm I'm not changing a hair. Now, even as I say that, I think of the legacy. This is a silly, but it just comes up for me. I think of the silliness of most of you know I had shoulder length hair for a long time. And boy, I cannot tell you how many people wanted me to change my hair. My friggin' hair, like that really mattered, right? It was not about don't change your hair for me. Well, could you change your hair? Could you get rid of the hair? Really, the hair's too much. So I have open heart surgery. I shave off my hair. Now, I talked to one of my beloveds who is still a beloved, but that person said, yeah, you know what? Could you please grow your hair back? Long hair, short hair, flip the hair, don't flip. It's hair, right? So stay. Could you maybe just stay with me as I am? I promise you, I will return the favor. Stay, comic Valentine. Stay. I don't love you despite your quirkiness and your flaws. I love you because of them. I like quirky, imperfect people. I've always surrounded myself with them. And so often, the Hallmark cards say, and we say, oh, let me find the perfect person to love. And nothing has ever felt truer to me than if I found the perfect person to love, what would they want with me? Right? I am just as imperfect as they come. And I am really, really, really okay with that. Finally. Finally. So we really got to watch, if when we could go to bookstores and if you go to Amazon, one of my favorite places, because I know that enlightenment is going to be in the next book, right? But we've had for several decades now this whole self improvement movement, right? And that is a slippery slope. And I think that self improvement is a big risk. It's really risky because the notion that we need to be improved is the problem. See, self improvement is its own faulty perception. Change and transformation. Now that's encoded in our souls. So we are designed to evolve into higher and higher levels of consciousness for sure. But that can only happen in an atmosphere of acceptance and love. It cannot happen when we're constantly trying to fix ourselves. It can't happen. And so as our daily word invites us into now, the affirmation, I saw this and I went, you are dear to me. I hold you in my heart. Well, you are dear to me. I'll move in that direction. How about that? Because you are dear to me sometimes, some people, but I'm going to hold you in my heart at the level of essence, right? Like, I'm going to make that a full-time spiritual practice. But see, I can only do that. I give you a new commandment that you love one another. You cannot love another from a place of self loathing. It is absolutely impossible. And self love cannot happen at a conceptual level. As an idea, it has no power. So we can say, oh, I love myself. Well, your behaviors would indicate something else. Because when we really love ourselves, we treat ourselves with dignity and with respect, and our habits indicate that we are really loving ourselves. We do not engage in activities that, that damage our health, and that, what we do, and this is, as I said earlier, this is a white shirt holiday, and that'd be fun. You know what? One of my beloveds made Donald and I a big batch of chocolate chip cookies, and I gotta tell you, yum, 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 right? But I do not feed myself white sugar every single day. That's not a steady diet for me. And I know what it's like to really engage in unhealthy behaviors. And part of my own spiritual evolution is learning that I got to take care of this skin bag that I've been given. I've got to mostly, like, I can have a treat, but I don't do it all the time. And, I think of our beloved Ellen. I think it was her birthday yesterday or the day before, but our beloved Ellen, that week after week after week after week would bring these magnificent cakes to our social hour. And Maisie, our beloved Maisie, and all the people would bring this delicious food. And Sunday was kind of my free day, right? Sunday was my feast day. I could have a little bit of what I wanted. But I don't do that on a regular basis, because part of my self love practice is the maintenance of my own health. And I've got to have that in order to be able to show up and to love you. So it's a radical practice, and it's a moment by moment practice. And, I was remembering this week, God, 30 plus, 30, maybe going on 35 or more years ago. Remember the late author and just Louise Hay. And I remember discovering Louise Hay and her landmark book, You Can Heal Your Life. And Louise Hay ministered and loved people with AIDS at a time where almost no one would even go near people with AIDS. And she began this circle of mostly at that time gay men that she invited into her home, and she would hug and embrace them and love them. And this little circle in her living room became 1,000 people. And she did so much with mirror work. Remember, some of you remember that mirror work. And she would say, now, and she always had these mirrors that she carried with her, and she would hold them up to people, and she would say, look at yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, I love you just the way you are. And I remembered trying to practice that. And, actually, at that time, I looked pretty damn good. I was making a lot of money off my looks then. And I would still look into the mirror, and I could try to, but I couldn't look into my eyes, not for any sustained length of time. And that was a really hard practice for me. So I was thinking about that today. I think, Taylor, how often today do you look into your eyes? How often do you really actively love yourself? And it's easy to kind of let that go, but there's probably no more revolutionary practice that would contribute to all living beings. So I'm going to invite you on this Valentine's Day. I want you, each and every one of you, eat your chocolate, eat your white sugar. Go on, get a little buzz on. But also, I want you to look into the mirror, right? And I I don't look the way I used to. There, as Donald tells me, I am sagging at the speed of light. That's my funny Valentine. Love you, Donald. Thank you. Right? So there's I'm a funny Valentine for sure. But I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay. And I'm going to let love happen in here, because when love happens in here, in this field of consciousness, it happens in the world. When love happens in here, it happens in the world. So you look at the world today and you look at those people that you disagree with, and you look at the people that are behaving so just, oh my God, I cannot believe you're saying that or doing that. And then just, well, funny Valentine, thank you, because I got to really become more in order to hold you in my heart and to move in the direction of loving you. I am not holding you dear right now, but I'm willing to get there. Are, are you willing to get there? Are you willing? Because it only takes willingness, and it becomes a full-time prayer practice. So I want to tell you today on this Valentine's Day, I miss you and I love you. And I wish you were here that I could put a little Valentine in your shoebox, but I can't do that. But I'm giving you my heart. My heart is yours. And I'm a funny Valentine for a damn sure. But my love is real. And you got it just the way it is. Beloveds, each day is Valentine's Day. I love you so. Happy Valentine's.
And so it is. Ah, Taylor, you make me smile with my heart. Oh, and you too. So we trust that you have been spiritually fed by our gathering this morning. Though we continue to be physically distanced, we remain committed to providing you with a full roster of virtual activities until we're able to gather again at our Temple Israel home. Please see our website or check the Conscious Connection newsletter to find out all that's happening. And if you don't get our newsletter, go to the website and sign up, please. That's the pulse right now and how we can keep finding out about what's going on. Oh, so we remind you weekly that though we are not physically together, our expenses remain fixed, and they do. We rely on the contributions of our spirit family in order to sustain our unity home. So, we invite you now to activate our fourth and fifth unity principles. We pray the law, we take inspired action. Feel your love and appreciation for what we co-create together as a felt sense prayer. And then take inspired action by donating on our website or by using one of our technical instruments to materialize your prayer and share. You're also welcome to send a check to our office. Believe me, your support is indeed appreciated. We are continuing to make waves of unity every day. So now let's join together, please, and recite together our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love of God. The power of God protects me. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever God is, I am, and all is well. And now, David's going to lead us as we close with the peace song. Have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for joining us, and let's let there be peace. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Happy Valentine's Day.